It's 9:30 on a Tuesday night and you are here, so you must be looking for some takes on whether or not the baseball team is on the verge for a 29-esque run. Can the softball team start producing more runs consistently? And of course, we're talking men's and women's lacrosse in lieu of the MAAC tournament. Plus, we got a little something special planned for tonight. Breakdown from the courts, you say? Breakdown is live for another senior finale edition right now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome into another night full of debates here in Studio 125. I am your host, Khalesia Smith, and with tonight being Senior Night Finale Edition, for myself is also for the two guys sitting alongside of me, Ross Meglin and John Surratt. Guys, glad to be on here on desk with you for the final last time. How are we feeling?
Pretty emotional, but still ready to get into debate.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We got some work to do before the emotions kick in, and it's going to be a good one.
Y'all better not start crying.
Hey, I'm trying not to.
We're not doing that tonight. Not tonight. We can do it later on, though. But let's kick it off on the diamond. The Quinnipiac baseball team has an overall record of 9-20 and a 3-6 in the conference. Thus far, they have had to deal with some tough matchups in number 9, NC State, and the top-seeded Monmouth and MAAC. While having some bright and not so bright moments, but there can always be a turnaround like they did back in 2019. So guys, are the Bobcats just waiting for that big break to be able to, have that caliber season as they did back in 2019?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start when I watched this team back in 2019. Offensively, they were just with the team this year, they were on par. When you look at average, 284 that year, led in home runs and in runs total scored. But they had a 5.31 ERA and were fifth with only 80 errors throughout the season. This year, I just don't see that consistent pitching throughout this team. I think their offense is up to par, but I think that their pitching needs to about 3 more earned runs per game, and I think they really need to be able to find that pitching and find that fielding as well. They lead the MAAC in errors throughout the season with 58. That's almost to 80, and we're halfway through the season.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You said it with the ERA. The pitching is just not there. And they've had the glimpses. Like this last weekend against Monmouth, 2 wins. They put up 13 runs in a 2-win series of the 3 games. So they have potential, and they're showing that right now. But it's just not there right now. And the team ERA overall, 8.41, and their opponent's ERA is just 5.31, which it's about the same differential as last year. And a stat I like, WHIP. Walks, hits, innings pitched. It's averaging around 2 this year. That is really, really bad. And just to go at you a little bit here, John, the Baltimore Orioles have a 1.2 WHIP this year, which is also pretty bad. So they're letting too many people on base, and you put people on base, it's Moneyball, right? People get on base, you're going to score runs, and they're not doing that right now.
Yeah, I say we throwing shots, so you
yeah,
I don't.
So it's the only one. I'm sorry.
I'm a very unbiased reporter here. So I think, overall this team offensively has it, but I think they've got to find the pitching and the fielding, especially throughout the rest of the season. They showed it against Monmouth. They showed their pitching, especially in relief with Ambrosino against Monmouth in the second game of that series. I think overall, that once they find that, they'll be able to. I don't see it with the pitching, but if they were able to find that, then that's when I'd be able to.
For sure. The stats say it all, so
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to see. But sticking to baseball, back in March, they matched up against our Whitney Avenue neighbors, the Yale Bulldogs, and things didn't quite turn out so hot. They ended up getting blown out 19-7, with Yale scoring 8 runs in just 2 innings. Now they face them again tomorrow for round 2 of the season. What are they going to need to do to make sure they don't have the same outcome like they did last time? Ross, I'll start with you.
Yeah, it's pitching. We've talked about pitching so far tonight, and that first game against Yale, DeLuca, Ambrosino, and Piori, they had 8 earned runs, 6 earned runs, and 5 earned runs respectively. You're just not going to win baseball games giving up double-digit earned runs in a game. They've been better as of late, those 3, and Piori did pretty good his last game out against Hartford, but yeah, pitching is really just the issue with this team right now, and if they can solve that problem, they're going to be fine against Yale. But right now, the pitching is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it too, like you mentioned the 19 runs. All when I mentioned previously, they led the league, the conference in errors. They had 0 errors in that game, so everything was earned. They fielded pretty well. This time around, they have to keep that fielding up defensively. But again, we got to talk about the pitching. It's always going to be with this Quinnipiac men's baseball team. They're going to be able to score runs. It's really just up to how well this team can pitch overall throughout the rest of the season going forward, especially against Yale with their next game.
Yeah, and I'm going off script here, but I don't know this. I don't have it in front of me, but they won a game last week on walk-off action, I believe recording 7 errors in a game. Like, that's incredible that they can still win a game committing that many errors. So they lose games with 0 errors and they win games with 7 errors. That's incredible to me.
Yeah, it really makes no sense sometimes.
It doesn't at all.
But this team's really weird this year, especially coming up against Monmouth and doing that. We really don't know what to expect with this Yale game.
So I'm assuming I grasped that the word of the day or the season for the baseball team is pitching.
Pitching, you got it.
Yes.
You nailed it.
I got it. So moving over to the other side of the locker room, the Quinnipiac softball team has quite a similar record as their counterparts, with their overall record being 9-21 and 3-7 in the conference. The Bobcats seem to be a bit on the struggle bus. They are only clocking 4 runs on the week, but they do have the capabilities to do more as they've done in the past. How are they going to be able to produce runs more consistently moving forward, especially with tougher matchups coming ahead, John?
Yeah, I mean, when you looked at the Rider game, especially the last game, they struck out 14 total times. But in the second game, they struck out 10 times in that one single game. They have to be more consistent. They only got, in that win against Rider with 3 runs, they only got 5 hits. In the loss to Rider, they only got 1 hit. They have to get more players on base. They have to just be more consistent, be more patient as well. Those strikeouts aren't going to win softball games in the MAAC.
That's true.
And with Rider, I mean, they kind of got lucky. Rider's the best offensive team in the conference, and only allowing them to score 4 total runs in that series is pretty lucky for Quinnipiac going in. If they keep up that pitching, it's that's going to pay dividends. But they got to get more players on base and be more patient at the plate.
Yeah. No, it all comes down to the offense for me. In their 9 wins, 7 of their 9 wins, Quinnipiac has out-hit their opponent. So getting people on base and scoring those runs is crucial. And it's not just getting people on base. It's also the situational hitting. And right now, Quinnipiac is bottom 3 in on-base percentage, runs, hits, batting average, and home runs. And they have to steal bases more hit and runs. Give people confidence, because when the coach gives the signal for a hit and run, you as a hitter have to swing no matter where the pitch is. So that gives the hitter confidence. I'm swinging no matter what. I don't have to think about where the ball is. If it's a strike or it's a ball, you're going to swing no matter what. So giving the hitters that confidence is going to be huge for them if they get the lead off runner on. And again, stealing bases, they only have 16 stolen bases this year. That's bottom 3 in the MAAC. Canisius, who's tied for first in the MAAC right now, has 67 stolen bases.
Yeah, you really gotta you have to be better on the bases, and like I mentioned, with getting on base more consistently as well. We're funny baseball, pitching, softball. They got to work on their offense.
It's true.
Well, there you have it. They got to work on the offense, but the offense is definitely going to come in place when it comes to, speaking of tough matchups. They do have number 3 Siena to face this weekend, and after having 1 win and 1 loss against top seeded Rider just this past weekend, and now having a week off until then, what can the Bobcats do to be able to beat Siena in the doubleheader this Sunday?
Well, I started last one.
Yeah, I'll take this one then. I'll keep this one quick, and it's Kayla Jensen. Right now, she's hitting 177, 0 for 3 against Rider. And I'll just read her stats over the last couple years. In 2019, she was batting .340. In 2020, .330. In 2021, .257. This year, .177, and only 2 extra base hits so far. She's got to step it up.
Yeah, I just win in general. The team has to just get. We just talked about it. They're hitting their offense. Siena isn't as potent offensively throughout this season, but they're still one of the best offensive teams, third in average, with and 152 runs on the season. They have to get more offense somehow, some way. Their pitching was really stout against Ryder. We got to see it again against Siena coming up, but that offense really has to come around.
Yeah, they got to do a lot of things to turn things around, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Well, that'll do it for Talk on the Diamond. We're going to take our first commercial break of the night, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we are heading to the lacrosse field. See you there. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Or if you're just getting in here, thanks for tuning in. Continuing the low record train, the Quinnipiac men's lacrosse team has only won 2 of their 8 games so far this season, with their last loss being a blowout from Virginia and not having won any conference games thus far. They have a big matchup coming up in facing the top-seeded St. Bonaventure, where now they have been playing so far. What are they going to need to do to top that team?
All right, I'll start with this one. It's a couple guys in our Q&N class, John. Dimitri George and Will App. They're not just journalism weapons, they're also weapons on the lacrosse field. Dimitri George, he needs to be dominant when it comes to the face-offs. He's one of the best face-off men in the country. He's 28th in the country. The only thing is, his opponent on St. Bonaventure is 27th in the nation. So that's going to be a really interesting battle in the face-off field. And in Will Abbott, he's tied for 3rd on the team right now in goals. He used to be the team leader. But he just needs to shoot more. In the last game, he had an .800 shot percentage, but he only shot 4 times. So it's high, but his percentage is high, but he has to take more shots on goal to be successful, to get back to the team leader where he once was.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go to the other side of the field with defense. The Quinnipiac men's lacrosse team has always struggled defensively. That's what's never gotten them over the hump besides the one year they did win the MAAC. They've always just struggled defensively, and against St. Bonaventure, the only team with a positive goal differential in the MAAC. And I think St. Bonaventure scores 10.8 goals per game, while Quinnipiac scores 10.5. So they're kind of even throughout offensively, but when you're giving up so many, Nick DiMuccio is also one of the best goalies in the conference. So what does that leave? The guys in front of him. So I really think that has to get cleaned up, and it's always been a problem for them throughout their years with Nick in goal, so I think that's going to have to be figured out against St. Bonaventure with. Funny enough, too, just St. Bonaventure, they've always been one of the worst teams in the MAAC. It's kind of cool to see that they came around a little bit.
So keeping lacrosse in mind, going over to the women's side, women's, having not a quite so bad record. They are 5-9 overall, but they have lost their last 6 games, and 5 of them were the MAAC conference matchups, which puts them 1 of 5 into the conference. But through the bad, there's always some good. So according to you guys, what or who has been the bright moments through this the slump that they've been having? John?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Cindy Skalstad, transfer out of Fresno State. When you look at it, Desiree Kleberg. She overall leads the team in points and goals, but Cindy has averaged 2.2 goals over that losing streak and half an assist a game, while Kleberg has only struggled with getting 1.7 goals a game and 1 total assist in that whole stretch. So Cindy's been more of a just throughout the 6 games she's shown more.
Yeah, well, I went with Desiree Kleberg because she does lead the team with 27 goals on the season, which leads the team 6 assists, which is tied for 3rd. She's shooting, her shooting percentage is 365% right now. She has 10 goals and 1 assist in the 6-game losing streak. And she also leads the team in caused turnovers. So that in itself can lead to offense.
Sure. So done with lacrosse now, but now landing at our final destination, the hardwood, keeping things rolling with some QU Hoops talk. With the season ending comes transfers, the transfer portal, and recruits on the uprise. So to chat a little more on this topic, we thought it would be fun to have a little breakdown from the courts. Welcome in to Breakdown from the Courts, where we're going to talk a little QU Hoops, who's staying, who's coming, who's going, while playing a little horse Q30 edition. Guys, you ready to get started?
I'm ready to go.
Super
Who's
excited.
first? Who wants ball?
It's me.
Got you?
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's get it. So obviously
Sure.
we all know that we got a new recruit for the men's basketball team. We got Ike, coming from Columbia, 6'7" forward, big. Quinnipiac was losing some big, so maybe a good thing if he's coming here. What does that mean for the men's basketball team this season?
Well, I'll talk. So for Ike, when you watch him at Columbia last year, he only played 10 games his senior year. He got injured pretty early on. Columbia didn't have the best of a season, but he still led the team in points and with 15, averaged around 7 rebounds as well. So he showed a really good, just presence out for Columbia, even though that they struggled throughout the better part of the year. So you have a Q.
I do have Q in Q30.
All right. So Ross has Q, and I still have nothing.
All right, we get it.
John has nothing. Ross, we're back on Ike.
Noeka, yeah, I think this is going to be interesting because obviously losing Marfo, that's a huge loss. And Quinnipiac has had that big man instead of Pinckney or Marfo the last couple of years. Is it my shot? I can
Yeah.
All right. So with having those 2 guys completely gone, they need a new big man, and he has the same build as Marfo, 6'7", 248. That's going to fill that void perfectly, I think, the Bobcats. John, I'm going to go mid-range still because I haven't hit a shot yet.
Michaela Moore is special. Okay.
You got it.
Yes, sir.
What we got?
All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, I gotta make it first, so we'll see if
Speaking of, obviously it was crazy how the men's basketball season ended. Everybody expected the unexpected from them. And they ended up making it all the way to the semifinals.
Yeah.
So what is this team possibly going to look like next season when it comes to? Is that what they're striving for possibly again, or is the standard still going to be kind of low?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the roster, you got Taimu Shinnery coming back down, Luis Corey coming back, but you're losing Marco Rigoni. Not the best shots here by Ross, but you're losing
that's
Marco
not why we're here.
Rigoni. And with that, you got a lot of senior leadership to fill, but a lot of points to fill, a lot of stats overall to fill for this team, and you don't really know where it's going to come from, and it really could come from anyone going into the transfer portal or recruits going into this upcoming year.
Yeah, I mean, John said it entirely. There's so many people leaving and so many, well, I can't say so many people. Oh, man.
Oh, from downtown.
All right, lost my train
Jacob
of thought.
Rigoni is special right there.
John said it all, though. There's so many people leaving right now that there's so many voids and so many stats and so many player types to fill. As of right now, it's really tough for the Bobcats to say they're going to be better off than they were last year when they came in last place in the regular season.
So, wait, where are we looking at? We got Q.
He has now
Three.
Q3.
Q3. Uh-oh. One more, and you out. John has nothing. That's what he had right
This is
now.
why we should have played QBSF.
It's looking
I have
pretty
4
rough.
letters to play
Oh,
with.
made her down for 3 point. Great player. So, what is Manhattan looking like when it comes to, the matchup of Manhattan and Quinnipiac?
Quinnipiac, it's really hard for me not to favor them with, John Surratt a little too strong on that one. I just like Quinnipiac in almost every matchup you can put them against in the MAAC next year, just because of experience. Yeah, Dee Davis is phenomenal, and she had an incredible MAAC tournament this last year, but I just can't go against Quinnipiac with how much experience they have and how much they're bringing back. And they're going to bring in all these new recruits. I have to pick Quinnipiac next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough to pick Quinnipiac. Just mentioned with the talent.
I'm calling a
coming
bank
back.
just for the record.
Okay, he's calling bank here, so we'll see.
Right?
Oh, okay.
I got to get back in this somehow.
Either way,
He's in control of the game.
For once. About time.
He's in
either way, I think Michaela Moore. I think this whole team just has a type of mentality now that they want to win it all. They've only throughout this core have really not had a ton of playoff success. Had a good amount of regular season success. And I think they want to finally capitalize off into that playoff success going into this year.
For sure. Like, speaking of...
That's huge.
John has his first Q. John has his first Q.
All right.
Speaking of Q,
To
Q3.
Q3, correct.
Q3, we got a Q. All right. That's the update for right now. So
We love a mid-range shot. That's all I'm doing.
mid-range. All right, what we looking like? All right, John back in control.
I shouldn't have warmed up. I should not have warmed up. I was so good during warm-up.
So speaking of, possible, key matchups, coming up next season, let's talk about St. Peter's.
Oh, wow, John. Rattles that one
There
in.
you go. That's the point.
All right.
You gotta pause the game for a second. It's a crucial
Yeah, because
pause.
this could end
this
it
is
right
close.
here.
This is
We got
close.
to take a pause.
This is crucial.
All right.
All right. What we got, Rob? Going deep. Going deep.
Oh, that felt so good
Well,
off the hand.
there you have it. Champ is in the building.
That's a great game. Yeah.
Well, guys, it was a great game.
It's
Rob.
tough.
I knew I was going to win.
Oh,
Either way.
in warm-ups, I hit every shot. I haven't played basketball in months. I hit every shot in warm-ups, and I come out here and I brick everything.
Well, maybe that was my strategy.
I just wanted me to cool down as I kept going.
Listen, well, there you have it. Next time, don't warm up. But thank you for tuning in on this week's edition for Breakdown from the courts. Make sure to stay tuned after this commercial break.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all
Is
good,
it,
baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kiddos, it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
The end is nearing, but thanks for sticking with us this long. But just for sticking with us, we are going to provide you with the call of the week, brought to you by QBSN. Take a listen to Ross Meglin on the call from the Quinnipiac versus Monmouth baseball game.
Seaberg pinch running at first base in place of Sean Swenson, who walked. So a threat to steal, they think, is Seaberg. Here's the 0-1 to Cone. Is launched into center field. Back at the wall. It is gone. Michael Cone delivers an absolute blast to center field. It's 13-7 Bobcats in the 8th.
The offense is back right there in that home run, and that's the 5th home run of the season for Cone, tying Danny Melnick. That's a big-time home run, now up by 6 for Quinnipiac.
That was a no-doubter, and they throw the cowboy hat on him as he runs into the dugout.
Now the time that you guys and not us have been waiting for is time for Final Wars. John, you're up first.
3 years ago, at the end of my first year for my Final Roar and Breakdown, I thanked the seniors who had set the path before me. Man, does time fly by. 18-year-old me coming from Maryland, I just wanted to go on TV and talk sports. 4 years later, going to a university I had never heard of 8 months prior to committing, my final message today would be keep working harder. With just a few weeks left at Quinnipiac, with the unknown future ahead of me, I have met friends and made memories that will forever be a part of who I am. There were many hurdles for me to get here, weight loss, COVID, and mental health to name a few, but at the end of it all, I am excited for what Q30 has grown to be and how this organization made me who I am today. This organization, in all honesty, has been my life from the day I stepped foot in SC 125. I've had the pleasure of being an executive producer with Joe LaGrippo for Sports Balls my sophomore year and a beat reporter for the men's basketball team for 3 years. Through ups and downs, Q30 taught me the work ethic I pride myself on, gave myself lifelong friends, and a future that is scary but exciting. I can't thank Q30 enough for where I'm at today.
All right, yes, I transferred here after my freshman year. Most people know that by now, and I came here wanting more of a challenge for myself. I needed more, and I had some goals. I wanted to broadcast some games doing play-by-play announcing, so I joined QBSN. I also wanted to go on TV in this studio, so I joined Q30. Ultimately, I wanted to put myself in a position where I could get a job doing what I love. To say I achieved those goals in student media would be an understatement. Some of my highlights were beat reporting for the men's basketball team with the best beat team I could have worked with. We built connections and formed relationships, both good and some bad. I did play-by-play broadcasting for a ton of different sports, including hockey, softball, soccer, volleyball, basketball, and baseball, which were not all sports I was familiar with at first. And of course, I became chairman of QBSN, where I laid the groundwork for the new era of sports coverage at Quinnipiac and continued the legacy of the organization that gave me so much. It's all come full circle. Q30 and QBSN pushed me to be better than I ever thought I could be. And as chairman, I am constantly pushing everyone to be better because I know how great they can be. Go challenge yourself. It's worth it. 4 years ago, I dreamed of being where I am today. With Q30 and QBSN, I achieved my dreams with ease. All I can say is thank you.
Well, I guess it's my turn now. As I look back at my time here at Quinnipiac, I feel like I've made leaps and bounds from not knowing how in the world to operate Premiere Pro to thinking cameras operate for themselves and all you have to do is press record. Needless to say, I have gained a lot from not only this university, but this organization especially. Q30 has afforded me so many opportunities that I never would have thought in a million years that I would be able to do and be a part of. From producing Sports Pods as an associate producer to now being the executive producer, even though I may have lost some sleep, missed a couple meals, and always could count on 75% of the chance walking out of the post-show meeting with a headache. But needless to say, it was a great ride to be reporting from the women's basketball team and being able to work with so many amazing people like Coach Richard Fabry and the players, like my fellow beat reporters, and getting to participate in covering the MAAC tournament both years that I was here, even though the first year one didn't quite go how I wanted, but being there this year definitely took the cake. To all the people that I have encountered and befriended throughout my time, I appreciate you for welcoming me and embracing me. Your kindness was much appreciated and always will be held near and dear to my heart. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for tonight. The time was great while it lasted, but that'll be all for us. To stay up to date with all our content and all things Quinnipiac sports, be sure to check us out on our website at q30tv.com. Also follow us on Twitter at Q30Sports. From the producers, everyone behind the scenes, to Ross and John and myself, your host, Khalesia Smith, we thank you for watching.